Do you ask yourself that question 10 years from now? How old are you going to be? 10 years from now, if you continue doing the job you are doing right now, what will be the prospect? Because in life, you must not only have a plan A, but you must have a plan B and C and D. You must spend time to project your life out. You must ask yourself 10 years from now, where are you going to be as a person? As an individual, would you have evolved in your mind, in your thought process, in your skill set? Would you have trained yourself to be able to become more valuable, to become more skillful? Because you must understand you will never get before you become. You have to become before you get. You are only going to be paid at the level of the value you bring to the marketplace. I'm going to share with you today something that blew my mind the first time I learned about it. In fact, I read it in a productivity book, and this really got me so excited. It got me so pumped up that I have to share with you. It says, if you improve 1% a day, by the end of the year, you are 37% better than what you were at the beginning of that year. I want this to sink in. If you improve 1% a day, by the end of the year, you are 37% better than what you were at the beginning of the year. Today is Sunday, and as usual, I was taking my daughters out to church. And I decided, because they were nicely dressed as usual, I decided today I wanted to take a picture of them. And I took pictures of them, and I just realized how much they have grown from these little toddlers a few years ago. And today, my first daughter is 18, my second daughter is 14, and the third one is 12 years old. I couldn't believe how grown they have, especially because when you live with them, you don't really pay attention how they change, right? And it got me thinking, Gustav, some of the most critical questions a lot of people don't ask, especially immigrants coming into America, is 10 years from now, what is going to be my life? You know, if you really truly want to be able to tap into yourself, if you really want to end your life successful, you must plan your life in time frames. And you must also be able to go back and review those time frames and envision and try to visualize exactly what things will look like at those different timestamps. I looked at my girls and I started thinking, 10 years before, my last girl was 2 years old. What was I thinking at that time? How was I envisioning 10 years to come, how they were going to be? And it got me thinking about everything else about life. And these are some of the questions I want you listening to me today to ask yourself as part of the overall plan on evolving and building yourself to your goals in this life. Always ask yourself, 10 years from today, how old are you going to be? For me, 10 years from today, I'm going to be 57 years old. And part of the plans I wrote 10 years ago was that by the time I'm 55 years old, I have to have a net worth of $55 million. I am not there yet, but I'm on that path. I've already taken time to train myself to understand exactly how to get there, and now it's time for execution. Do you ask yourself that question 10 years from now? How old are you going to be? For those in my generation or older than me, they might be over 60. They might be over 50. How do you plan to navigate life at that point in your time? What if you're fired by that point? You don't have a job at that point. How do you plan to survive? What are some of the things you think you'll be able to do 10 years from now that will generate money, that will generate income, that will be able to give you the ability to survive on your own skills without somebody providing you employment? 10 years from now, if you continue doing the job you are doing right now, what will be the prospect? A few years ago, when I was working as a certified nurse assistant, a CNA, taking care of older adults in a nursing home in Minnesota, I was being paid $12, and every time I did overtime, I will make half time and a half. So 12 plus 6, $18 an hour. And at that point, it felt good. I was excited. I just came from Cameroon and I could send some money to my friends and family. I could pay my own rents. And then a few years doing that for about a year and a half, I realized that it wasn't sustainable. I asked myself, 10 years from that point, will I still be able to continue doing this? Will my body be able to handle it? And the answer was no. So I decided to make a change. I became an LVN. And as an LVN, I was making $20. Time and a half, of course, 30. And then I did that for a little bit. At that point, of course, I've aged a little bit too. 4 years into that age, I was 27. And I asked the same question again. 10 years from that point, will I still be able to be a nurse and pushing the cart and passing medications? And the answer was no. So I had to figure out something else. Now, think about it this way. When you ask yourself these critical questions, 10 years from now, where are you going to be in your career? Will you still find joy, pleasure, and deep satisfaction doing what you are doing right now? And listen here, from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate you stopping by the channel. Every time you stop by the channel to watch my content, it fills me with a lot of motivation to continue to find the best information to provide you. While you're on the channel, I also want to let you know that over 80% of people who watch my channel have not subscribed yet to the channel. Why don't you do me this favor? Go ahead and hit the subscription key and also hit the notification bell. That way, anytime I have new content, you'll be able to be the first one to get it. 10 years from now, what is your income going to be? Have you sat down and done an extrapolation? Thinking, okay, if you are making, let's say, $50 an hour right now as a nurse, and if you don't do anything else, you don't increase your education, you don't get qualified as something more than a nurse, you don't achieve no additional certifications, with the daily raises in your job, where are you going to be in 10 years? You probably maybe be making about $60 an hour, a $10 raise in 10 years, which is typical in the healthcare industry. Sometimes it can even be less. Maybe you're in the IT industry. Maybe you're a doctor or a nurse practitioner, or maybe whatever profession you do. Do that extrapolation and ask yourself, 10 years from now, even with that income you've extrapolated in that calculation, will that be able to keep you going, to give you not only a survival, but to give you a standard of living that you aspire to have 10 years from now? 10 years from now, what is the legacy you would want to leave? What is it that you want to be remembered for 10 years from now? You need to understand you don't wait to get there to start planning. You plan and start executing now. For some of you, my brothers out here in the diaspora, 10 years from now, what if you don't have the job you have? What if you're not making the same kind of money you're making right now? Are there any other sources of income that are going to sustain you? Have you built a business? Have you used your skill, your knowledge, your gift to start something that you can fall back to and start building? What if 10 years from now, your partner decides to throw you out of the house, like it's happening to many men in America today? Sometimes it doesn't matter what the explanation is. The bottom line is you've been kicked out. What are you going to do? 10 years from now, if your children decide that whatever you were doing when you were growing up, taking care of them, doing hard, wasn't enough, and they don't think you made enough sacrifices to take care of them while they were growing up, what are you going to do? You see, it is important to play these scenarios in your head. It is important to not only play the scenarios, but be able to put mitigating plans. Because in life, you must not only have a plan A, but you must have a plan B and C and D. I do a lot of meditation. I do a lot of reflection. I do a lot of playing out scenarios. Believe you me, there are times I sit by myself in the room and I just imagine, boy, I just saw on the news the other day and there was a shooter at some school. What if it was at my children's school? What if one of my daughters was the one who was hit by one of these lunatics going out to shoot people for whatever reason? What am I going to do? Am I going to kill myself? Am I going to just start screaming? And I train my mind and I say, Gustav, whatever the circumstance, the first thing is to be calm. Take a deep breath so it gives you a chance to think. So 10 years from now, I want you to also extrapolate your own life. Think about how it's going to be. A good way to gauge it, whatever profession you are in right now, look at somebody who is 10 years older in that profession from you. Look at somebody who is already at the guard point of where you're trying to be. Is that where you want to be 10 years from now? Is that where you aspire to go if you continue to do what you are doing? The goal of this video is to generate that consciousness in you. Is to push your mind, to push your spirit, to start doing something about understanding and projecting out. You know, many immigrants come to America and they have plans, but they just have these general plans. Oh, I want to be a millionaire by the time I'm 50. Oh, I want to do this by the time I'm 60. But they don't spend time to put that plan, break it down into small daily, weekly steps. Look at all the different things that you need as resources in able to achieve that goal. Look at what you need to become to be able to get. Because you must understand you will never get before you become. You have to become before you get. You are only going to be paid at the level of the value you bring to the marketplace. I understand we all human beings are valuable in God's eyes, but in the marketplace, we are not the same. In the marketplace, there is different values at different levels. I used to work for one of the top technology companies in the world, Oracle Corporation. And in that year, my best year in Oracle, working as a cloud sales engineer, selling cloud products, Oracle cloud products to clients, I made about $160,000. And in that same year, the CEO of Oracle at that time, McHurd, that's his name, McHurd made $43 million. So the question I ask myself is, I am in the trenches every day working hard. I have 5 to 6 client calls a day. I have to demonstrate the product to them. I have to explain to them what the value of the product is. I have to make a connection between their purchasing the product and how that product is going to help their bottom line in their business. And I end up making 160,000. And the CEO makes 43 million. So the question is the difference in my contribution to the company and the contribution of the CEO to the company over $43 million gap? And the answer is obviously yes. It doesn't matter how I felt at that time. It doesn't matter whether I'm angry, I felt like I'm not paid enough. It doesn't matter whether I feel like I'm underpaid for the skill, like the pay gap is too big. Yes, all of that is fact. I'm human. But what really matters is the value I bring to the marketplace. At that point, the value I bring to the marketplace is worth $160,000 a year. And the value McHurd brings to the marketplace for Oracle Corporation is worth $43 million in pay a year. Let me explain to you something. You must spend time to project your life out. You must ask yourself, 10 years from now, where are you going to be as a person? As an individual, would you have evolved in your mind, in your thought process, in your skill set? Would you have trained yourself to be able to become more valuable, to become more skillful, to bring something to the marketplace that is of value, that people are willing to pay money for, to get? You see, you are here watching my video this evening. It's not by accident. Because I am providing value, you are paying me with your time and your attention. Have you thought about it like that? That is the payment you pay me for the value I've been able to bring to you in this video and in other videos. By the way, if you are not subscribed to this channel yet, you are missing out. I noticed that 80% of all of you who watch my content haven't subscribed to the channel. Do me that favor and subscribe to the channel. That is what helps this video get circulated more to more people. Click the subscription key. Also click the notification bell. Give me a thumbs up as a like so that the algorithm can help move this video for more people to listen to such valuable message. In addition to that, I have a newsletter group, which is unique. And if you want to join that group, click down in the description of this video and you will be joining that newsletter group where I provide once a week very specific information on how to build yourself and become better and more valuable as a person, how to invest for profit, and how to build a legacy. So when you are no longer on this side of eternity, you can be remembered. So you must ask yourself that basic question. When you become less productive, when you become old, weary, and tired 10 years from now, when you can no longer be physically able to work the way you're working, what will become of you? Have you invested in the stock market so that way your money can be working hard for you? Have you invested in assets that can generate an income for you to live a great life when you're no longer able to generate money? Have you invested in relationships that at that point in your life will become more valuable to you? You must understand people will change. Life changes, life evolves, people will come and go. I can tell you for a fact, most of the people you know now, 10 years from now, you might not be friends with them again. You might not have a relationship with them. You might not know them again. They might have died. They might have moved on to other things with their life. Are you prepared to understand that life is about evolution? So when you ask yourself this question, 10 years from now, where are you going to be? I hope you are able to sit down, project out, and be able to note some of the key things that you need to do so that 10 years from now, you will not be disappointed about where you are with your life. I pray that I'll see you in the next video, but until the next time, be well, be blessed, and by all means, never stop being a blessing to somebody. And if nobody ever told you, hear this from me. You are enough.